So, hello guys. Right now we're going to discuss certain topics from the chapter 5 in our microbiology. So, first is we're going to compare and contrast the differences between algae, protozoa, and fungi in terms of their photosynthetic ability and chitin and their cell walls. Okay? So, the term algae refers to a wide range of species in the taxonomic system that come from the kingdom Protista. Okay? All algae produce chlorophyll and can do photosynthesis. Some are unicellular, while others are multicellular algae. With multicellular algae, a well-known form of it is the seaweed. Okay? Next is protozoa. It also belongs to the kingdom Protista. Okay, these organisms are unicellular, meaning one-celled organism, and are classified by their method of movement. They can swim by using flagella, which are whip-like strands, cilia or pseudopods, which are extensions of the cell that pull it along, and or they do not move at all. Okay, amoebas are a type of protozoa that is very familiar. Okay, some protozoans are also responsible for human diseases such as malaria. Okay? Next is fungi. Fungi are eukaryotes that grow hyphae threads to form a mesh network called mycelium to absorb nutrients. Okay? So algae and in terms of their differences, algae and fungi are cell-walled organism, meaning they have or they possess cell wall that have polysaccharide chitin in fungi and cellulose in algae that make the most of their cell wall that protozoa don't have, since protozoa is a unicellular organism that doesn't possess a cell wall. So conversely, among the three, algae, fungi, and protozoa, only algae is photosynthetic. Okay? So number 2, we're going to explain what is red tide and the cause of it and its medical significance. Okay? So red tide is caused by the proliferation of algae in the ocean that produces discoloration. Hence the name red tide, okay? Meaning, pag dumadami na ang algae sa ocean, nagkakaroon ng red tide, okay? Kumbaga parang the algae is like occupying a large portion of the ocean, okay? The algae could consume the oxygen in the water and may release toxins that are harmful to water animals and to humans, okay? That is why when there is red tide, we do not eat water organisms such as fishes, shrimps, and other clams like that. When there is red tide, because these algae that occupy the ocean that produces red tide, they release harmful toxins, and they consume the oxygen in the ocean. Okay, that might kill other water organisms. So next item, we're going to specify four major categories of protozoa and their most important differentiating characteristics, which is in their mode of locomotion or in their mode of movement. Okay. So these four major categories of protozoa are ciliates, amoebae, flagellates, and sporozoa. Okay, they all differ in their mode of locomotion. Okay, ciliates first. Ciliates move via the thick cilia on top of their bodies. So cilia are the hair-like parts, like on top of their bodies. They have this like hair-like structures that cover their bodies. Okay, so they through that they are moving through that hair-like part. Okay, next is amoebae. They move via their cell membrane extensions called pseudopodia or false feet, meaning the cell membrane or the membrane of the amoeba has extensions, like parang may mga deformation, okay, sa membrane ng amoeba na yun ang ginagamit nila for their movement, okay? Next is flagellates. They move via a whip-like flagella, okay? They move via their flagella. This is like a whip-like part, okay? Whip-like structures. Next is sporozoa. Sporozoa lacks cilia, pseudopodia, and flagella, meaning it has no means of, it has no media. It cannot use anything for movement, okay? It only moves only through gliding, like when it is um, um, glided with other organisms, okay? Next item is we're going to define the terms pellicle, cytostome, and stigma. Okay? So what is a pellicle? Pellicle is the outer membrane of some protozoans such as euglenoids or paramecia. Okay? It's the outer membrane. So cytostome is a cellular organelle found only in certain protozoa. It is specialized for phagocytosis and usually has the form of microtubule or microtubule supported funnel or groove. Okay, so cytostome is an organelle for certain protozoa. Okay, it is specialized for phagocytosis. What is phagocytosis? This is when the organelle or a certain organism is um, engulfing something for intake in their in intaking something. Okay. Stigma is a visible sign or characteristic of a disease, meaning these are signs of a disease. That is stigma. Okay. Next item is we're going to list five major infectious diseases of humans that are caused by protozoa and five that are caused by fungi. So for protozoa, the five diseases that are caused by protozoa are malaria, African trypanosomiasis, Chagas disease, leishmaniasis, and toxoplasmosis. Okay. Next is diseases caused by fungi. Okay. The candidiasis, cryptococcosis, aspergillosis, and coccidioidomycosis or valley fever. Okay. Next is we're going to define and state the importance of phycotoxins and mycotoxins. Okay. So phycotoxins are potent organic compounds formed by marine, brackish, or freshwater bodies or soils that inhabit dinoflagellates and other flagellated phytoplankton and cyanobacteria. Okay, so for humans, the highest risks of humans on phycotoxins are: number one, ingestion of seafood contaminated with toxins produced by diatoms and dinoflagellates. Respiratory exposure through aerosols, and exposure to soft water contaminated with cyanotoxins through drinking water, freshwater fish, dermal exposure like bathing in contaminated lakes, or through contaminating equipments or fluids. Okay? So, mycotoxins, on the other hand, can cause a variety of adverse health effects and pose a serious health threat to both humans and livestock. The adverse health effects of mycotoxins range from acute poisoning to long-term effects such as immune deficiency and cancer. Those mycotoxins that do occur in food or feedstuffs have great significance in the health of humans and livestock. Since they are produced by fungi, mycotoxins are associated with diseased or moldy crops, although the visible mold contamination can be superficial. Okay? Next item is we're going to explain the differences between aerial and vegetative hyphae, septate and aseptate hyphae, and sexual and asexual spores. Okay? So first, vegetative hyphae penetrates while aerial hyphae grow on the top of the agar surface. Okay? Next is septate hyphae have dividers between between the cells called septa. Okay? The septa have openings called pores between the cells to allow the flow of cytoplasm and nutrients throughout the mycelium. Okay? While non-septate hyphae, also known as aseptate or soenocytic hyphae, form one long cell with many nuclei. Okay? They are the more primitive form of hyphae. Species that septate hyphae diverged from a common ancestor with coenocytic hyphae. Okay? So, asexual spores and sexual spores. Asexual spores are formed after mitosis, okay, without the involvement of meiosis, okay. While a sexual spore is a spore formed as a result of conjugation of gametes or nuclei such as zygosphere, ascosphere, basidiosphere of the opposite sex, okay. Next and last item is we're going to explain the major difference between lichen and a slime mold. Okay? So, lichens are composed of alga and a fungus living in a mutualistic relationship. These lichens are classified as protists. Okay? While slime molds have both fungal and protozoa characteristics. They are also classified as protists. They are also classified as protists, and they are found in soil and rotting logs. Okay, so those are the differences between lichen and a slime mold. Okay, so that's all for the chapter 5. So chapter chapter 5. Okay, so thank you so much for listening and see you on my next video.